Okay, we've got a lot to talk about today, so get in here. This is Jack with Cosmic Road. I'll talk about UFOs and the paranormal. Please like and subscribe and let me know what you think in the comments below. Yeah, to start with, look at this awesome UFO video from Jaime Maussan, allegedly showing orbs creating a crop circle. Now, is this legit? Is this CGI? Let me know what you guys think. I definitely think that some crop circles are created anomalously. They're created somehow. Something's creating them that's not human in some cases. Is this how it's done? Let me know what you guys think. And by the way, 20K guys, 20K celebration. This is awesome. Cosmic Road is finally hit 20,000 subscribers. And to thank you, all you guys. Thank you, new subscribers. I really appreciate it. And thank you so much to my longtime subscribers and viewers of the channel. You guys rock, and you guys have more patience than just about anybody. And you have the best comments. I mean, I swear the Cosmic Road comment section is like the best comment section of any UFO channel. You guys are just so insightful and witty and just have great things to say. And I always love going into the comments. And yeah, like I say, you guys are so patient with me and all my shortcomings, and I really appreciate it. So thank you for coming along this road with me, this cosmic road with me. We're going to get there. We're going to get there, guys. Yeah, right now we have got to a huge milestone, 20K. Oh, and by the way, Chumbles created this contest. Whoever predicted the date or got closest to the date when I would hit 20K would get a free t-shirt. Now, Chumbles was going to pay for it, but I'm going to pay for it. So John Ramirez got closest to it. So, John, just send me an email with your address and stuff like that at mysteryroadchannel@gmail.com. And, I'll send you a t-shirt or a coffee mug or a hat, whatever you want. So, just hit me up, and congratulations, John. A great prediction for when I was going to hit 20K. And thanks, Chumbles, for that awesome idea. I love it. All right, we've got to talk about Anna Paulina Luna going on Joe Rogan. And I don't know if you can hear the furious thunder that's going on outside my house right now, but this is probably going to be a short video. But yeah, Anna Paulina Luna went on Joe Rogan talking about UFOs. I love it. Let me see if I can get a better screen grab of her. But yeah, she talked about some interesting stuff. She had gone into a skiff, of course, and she said she had seen things that made her firmly convinced there were things not created by man. She didn't get any more specific than that, very frustratingly. I don't know why, people in Congress are allowed to have this information, but we're not. She actually does kind of get into that. Joe asked her, well, what's the rationale for keeping this from the people? And she says, well, there may be different parts to it, but one is they don't think people can handle it, and it might undermine people's faith. However, she says she is a Christian, and it has not undermined her faith. And I actually come into it completely backwards. I was a total atheist before coming into UFOs, but that's where the research goes. If you research UFOs in an open-minded way, there's a huge metaphysical consciousness, spiritual based aspect of UFOs that seems just baked into the phenomenon. And you're never really going to understand UFOs unless you're willing to explore those other potentialities and other realities. So, and then, that ultimately led to me becoming an experiencer of both the metaphysical and the UFO. Which in at least a couple of cases were linked together, more than a couple of cases. So, it shouldn't affect people's faith at all. I mean, they may have a slightly different take on their faith after, learning this, but it's not going to say, oh, well, we're atheists now or something like that. The other part was, people couldn't handle it. Well, I have no doubt that's what people in Congress and, other inner circles have been told is the rationale. But the real reason is they want to keep this to themselves for whatever reason. It's the breakaway civilization. It's not the share it with everybody civilization. And that's really unfortunate, but they are, spreading this disinformation, I believe, that it's demonic or scary or people can't handle it. They're spreading that out to people like Anna Polina Luna and many others, trying to convince them not to look into it too closely or to justify them keeping this secret. But the justification does not justify it to me. The people that know this information are not running amok through the street, right? They're not going crazy, pulling their hair out, setting gas stations on fire or whatever, right? They are doing just fine. They're flying around in their UFOs, lounging in their med beds, whatever they're doing just fine. They're handling it just fine. We can handle it just fine. So that's just a bullshit excuse that people are given. But she does get into some really interesting territory in the interview. She even talks about remote viewing, and when Joe Rogan plays devil's advocate, she actually defends remote viewing and says, "Nope, it's a real deal." And they get into some really interesting areas. I highly recommend going and checking out the full interview, about 2.5 hours long. Really good stuff. Kudos to Anna for getting out there and going public like this. Just a few years ago, this would have ruined a politician's career, but Lou Elizondo, people give Lou Elizondo a lot of flack these days, but he is the one that started all this in the modern era, coming public with ATIP information, getting those 3 videos out, making the Nimitz incident, for example, known, allowing people like Ryan Graves and many others to come forward with their own information, changed the game. Ultimately, it allowed David Grush to come forward and various others, actually getting legislation passed in Congress. All started with Lou. But whatever Lou did and whatever the others did, it has changed the game. And now politicians can come out talking about this openly on platforms like Joe Rogan. So that is just awesome. You keep it up, guys. Also interesting and noteworthy is this video from Preston Bennett. I love Preston. He always has great cases on a weekly basis. He comes out with multiple UFO cases, often involving contact with ETs. And I just love that. I really appreciate that. In this particular section, this experiencer is taken aboard a craft, was shown a star map, and then given a prediction. And I think this is significant.
Is a rectangle of very dark blue, about 2 feet by 3 feet. I think it is a star map, as I can see many yellow dots on it. By my left side is a desk attached to a vertical wall. Before me is the fuzzy outline of a man about my size. I feel that he is the commander of the craft. I have no fear of this man. I think of my wife and son, but also have no fear for them. I am quite content to be here.
Today, I'm going to show you how to do the Japanese natural Ozempic. About 22 days ago, I started using the Japanese.
So at this point, Roger knew he was having a very strange experience, and he stared at the star map and tried real hard to memorize it. But he found that it all became a blur in his mind. It was at this point that the commander of this craft gave Roger a message. As Roger says, he doesn't actually speak to me, but I know what he is saying. The picture he gives me mentally is in definite black and white. The skyscrapers are all black. Behind them, the sky is a brilliant white. I know, it is an atomic explosion. I think the place is New York, but I am not sure. The picture is a warning. So the figure continued to speak telepathically to Roger, and as he says, there is another message. The figure tells me that my wife and I are handling our chore correctly. I think he means about building the cabin and storing food there. So then the commander points to an area north of the Black Sea. On a river is a dot with a dark circle around it and the word Kiev. The commander tells me that this is by far the most dangerous place. I picture rockets coming from there, but that may not be the true picture. I also picture an assassination. The commander says that bad things are happening in Kiev, and I must stop them. So at this point, Roger protested and told the man, quote, I know nothing of Russia and have absolutely no control over what happens there. Per Roger, the man seemed to become irritated and told him, if the bad things are not stopped, a catastrophic war will occur. Roger then asked when, and the man replied, in 6 years. Now, the catastrophic event that the ETs told Roger about that was supposed to occur 6 years later was supposed to occur in 1980. Interestingly, the Iran-Iraq conflict escalated into outright war in September of 1980.
So yeah, I wanted to cover that because so often ETs give predictions to experiencers, and we don't know if they'll come true or not. ETs tell a lot of stories, often contradictory to each other. Some of them, apparently seemingly bogus. They tell a lot of whoppers, basically, some of which may or may not be directionally true, but are not actually true. So, in a case like this, where they give a prediction with a firm deadline and it actually transpires as they said it would, and I think it's arguable if this is what they meant, but it fits the timeline, catastrophic war, fits the area. So it's very likely this is what they were talking about, and this was a real prediction based on some foreknowledge or information they had. So, what did the commander know? Are these beings existing outside of time? Does their ship go through the fourth dimension into dimensions beyond? And if we're saying the fourth dimension is time, does that mean they go outside of time as we know it? That's where various experiencers have reported on being taken to a place outside of space and time, which interestingly often is what near-death experiencers report as well. Strieber calls these beings fishers in the stream of time, as in, we are the fish in the stream of time, and they exist outside of that, and they come and pluck us out and take us outside of the stream of time, then put us back in. So yeah, is that how these beings acquire their foreknowledge of events that are going to happen? And it's really interesting when they do give us some truth, because they do tell some whoppers, seemingly. So when they are telling the truth about something, I think that's noteworthy. Now, they somehow expected this experiencer to be able to do something about this war. And that's where their information falls apart. They may have knowledge of this war that's about to happen, but they don't realize that this is just an average Joe with no ability to stop this war. So, what gives, guys? But I thought that was really interesting. Meanwhile, Dr. Dan says one of the clearest UFO photos in history, talking about this right here, June 18th, 1979 in Istrana, Italy. Ground radar guided an Air Force pilot to a silent metallic craft hovering in open air before it accelerated and was gone. Now, the average Chris says, yeah, not so fast. That's a targeting balloon, not a UFO. It's not metallic. It's a blimp. But Dr. Dan fires back. The Italian Air Force recorded an object that base and ground radar logged as unidentified. No targeting balloons were released, and pilots conducted dozens of flybys, capturing over 80 photos. And Brandon Fugel chimed in saying a very interesting case. I agree. I think that is a very interesting case and possibly a very awesome daytime sighting of a oblong cigar-shaped UFO. By the way, if you guys are interested in the Nazca mummies, I wanted to share this X page from Robin, where he has put together an amazing thread compiling various places you can go to get some research on the Nazca mummies, to delve into the research on the Nazca mummies. And so I wanted to provide this for you in case you are curious after Jesse Michaels' documentary about the mummies. If you wanted to explore the topic on your own, this is a great place to start, and I will link to Robin's thread in the comments below. Meanwhile, John Greenwald of the Black Vault is talking about the Black Cube over Wright-Patterson. Merrick von Rennenkamp talked about this the other day, and now John is weighing in, sharing some of the same documents. But I think this is a really noteworthy event. It's mixed up in the mystery drone phenomenon, and it's even called a drone, which is interesting. The most unusual report came from an aircraft westbound at 16,000 feet near Appleton, Vore, roughly 70 to 80 miles east-northeast of Wright-Pat. the crew reported a drone passing beneath them by about 500 feet and described it as a black cube. FAA quality assurance assigned coordinates to the sighting, placing it well east of the base, but it occurred within the same week as the other incursions and was documented in the Skywatch dataset. Yeah, and they described it as a drone, but it's a black cube. I'm not aware of any black cube drones, but if you are, let me know. But definitely seemingly an exotic craft and an anomalous craft, as this control group technology is this ET technology. I would love to know. I've given you my theories about the mystery drones, but I'm sure there were, other phenomena mixed up in that. There's a lot of activity. Other things are drawn to it, maybe trying to figure it out or stop it or, work with it in some way. Really, really fascinating phenomenon that, based on the commenters on the channel who are seeing this still play out in their night skies, is still going on. Speaking of the truth behind the phenomenon, here's George Knapp talking about mantis beings.
Of the types that we've heard of. You've heard of the grays and the Nordics and the tall whites and all these different. Which one, and this is just hypothetical, but which one is most interesting to you?
The mantises, the mantids. Part of that is personal, and part of it is sort of UFO related, in that it always seems like the mantises are in charge. The people who have these experiences who are taken on board ships. It's maybe the little grays that are the functionaries doing the experiments, the anal probes, all that stuff. But it's the mantises that seem to be calling the shots. So I'm very interested in them.
Yeah, well, me too, George. Mantis beings often depicted wearing capes, the very dramatic sci-fi figures, 7-8 foot tall mantids wearing capes that are these august, regal figures that may be higher dimensional beings that come into our reality. They seem to be running the abduction program, which is a vast program. And I've talked about the numbers of that many times. Staggeringly vast, robust program that seems like a very significant chunk of the UFO phenomenon. Some people have even gone on to say that the abduction phenomenon is the UFO phenomenon. Now, I wouldn't go quite that far. I do think there's more to the UFO phenomenon than simply abductions. But from my research, it definitely seems like, it's a huge part of the phenomenon and an important thing to take very seriously and to try to understand. And if we do have UFO disclosure that ultimately leads to us being able to treat or bargain with or deal with the beings behind the UFO phenomenon, it may very well be the mantis beings that sit down at that treaty table. Might have to be a big table. Meanwhile, Danny Sheehan says, "Hi everyone, this is Danny. On September 2nd, 2025 at 9 a.m. Pacific Time, New Paradigm Institute will be premiering our short film on YouTube. We're asking you give us 20 minutes of your time to watch this educational video on UFO disclosure. Just wanted to let you guys know I will definitely be watching that when it comes out on September 2nd. Okay, that's about all I have time for before I get hit by lightning. But check out these awesome wild cats, these palace cats or something like that, living in the wilds of China. I think that's what it said. Living in, where is it? Qinghai province in China. Look at those awesome cats in that beautiful setting. Let me know what you think about these amazing cats and everything else covered today in the comments below. Like and subscribe. Hit the bell to be notified of future videos. You don't want to miss a thing. Join me on social media. There's Facebook and Twitter links below. Love to see you guys there. If you want to support Cosmic Road in a bigger way, consider grabbing a coffee mug or a t-shirt in the merch store below, or by becoming a channel member. Channel members are rock stars, and I really do appreciate you guys' support. Thank you. Meanwhile, there's plenty of other videos on the channel, and I'll see you next time. This is Jack with Cosmic Road, signing out.